On this special Mother's Day edition of the Rev Cooks, I'm making a treat that the most important mother in my life absolutely loves, my wife. This is her favorite. It's a delicious, tangy yet sweet lemon poppyseed bread. Okay, lemon poppyseed bread. This is a raving favorite anytime we make it. In fact, we recently made this for some friends of our son's. He had like 9 of his college friends over to go to one of the nearby national parks for the day. So they stayed at our home. I made them a big continental breakfast, and of all the things in that breakfast I made them, the lemon poppyseed bread was the overwhelming favorite. They just couldn't get enough of it. It's a recipe that's been in our family for a long time. My wife was the one that originally discovered and made it and kind of tweaked it just a smidge to make it a little bit more ours, but it's really a very, very delicious, got that nice tangy lemon flavor, a little glaze on top, a really great breakfast bread to have. So there's a little to it, but that's what these videos are for. So let's get moving on getting this lemon poppyseed bread going. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna mix together some of our dry ingredients here. We're gonna start off with 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. We've really never done this with anything other than all-purpose flour. I suppose you could use some sort of a whole wheat flour, but I don't really think it would be good in this. It just doesn't quite make sense to do that. So 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, okay? Then we're gonna do a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So 1/2 teaspoon of salt here. And 1 teaspoon of baking powder. So I'm still using my 1/2 teaspoon measure here. So we'll get ourselves 2 scoops of this guy here. So there's a 1/2. And there's a whole, so 1 teaspoon baking powder, okay? Then we're gonna go ahead and just sort of mix this stuff together. It's like, I've said this in some of my other videos, this is really like my version of sifting. I'm not a big lover of sifting, so I kind of just whisk it together to sort of makeshift sift it, okay? All right, we're gonna set that aside. Now, next up, we're gonna get going on the sort of some of the initial liquids, all right? So what we're gonna do is in this bowl, the mixing bowl, I'm gonna use the stand mixer for this, we're gonna put 6 tablespoons of softened butter. If your butter is not softened to begin with, you can do like I had to do today. You can put it in the microwave a few seconds at a time until it gets a nice softened texture to it. Not melted, softened. So I put it in, I turn the timer on for like 30 seconds and I check it like maybe every 5 to 10 seconds or so and check to see if it's nice and soft. So nice softened butter there. So 6 tablespoons of softened butter, not boogers, that would be gross. Next up, 1 cup of sugar. I mean, it's a breakfast bread. It's gonna be very delicious. So like that sounds like a lot of sugar. Well, it is because it's just kind of how it goes. Sometimes you get a lot of sugar in these things. But it's a whole loaf, so it's not like the end of the world, okay? And 2 eggs, all right? So there's 1. And 2 eggs. I got a little shell in there, so let me get that out. Okay. All right. We'll put this on our stand mixer. And let me wash my hands real quick. All right. So we're going to cream together the eggs, sugar, and butter, which means we're just going to go ahead and turn this guy on and let it get going a little bit to get kind of combined. So once it's kind of all sort of more or less combined together, we're going to turn this up a lot higher to cream it, which basically means whip it together real nice until it gets a fluffy sort of texture, okay? We're letting this go till it's nice and creamy. Okay, so it's got this beautiful creamy texture to it. Take a look at that. Nice creamy texture to it. Okay. Then we're gonna start adding in our milk and flour. So we need, first of all, a half cup of milk, which whatever amount of fat that you prefer in your milk. So we'll get a half cup here. This is a 2%. Whole milk obviously would be a richer flavor, so you could use that if you'd like. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna alternately add in milk and flour kind of in two different parts, and then mix this guy together, okay? So I'll start by putting about half of this flour mixture in. Just like that. So about half of that in. And you can just sort of eyeball it. It's not like, doesn't have to be perfect. And about half of the milk. Okay, we're gonna combine that a little bit here. Okay. At this point, we're gonna go ahead and scrape down the sides a little bit, get all that flour that sort of settled on top of those guys, down off the sides. Oh, lost a little bit there. All good. Get that back in there, okay? Now we're gonna add the rest of our flour. So again, in two parts we're doing this. And I had a little bit of spillage, but that's okay, not the end of the world. And the rest of your milk. Okay. And we'll mix this stuff together. So we want to mix this well, so I'm going to kind of turn it up a little bit to get it a nice, good mix. And again, we may want to stop at some point and scrape down the sides because there's still so much of that lovely flavors along the sides here, okay? And then mix it a little bit more. So just a nice little mix there. Get it all mixed together, incorporated really well. Okay. At this point, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to grate a lemon and we're gonna add in the lemon peel and poppy seeds. Let me go grab a lemon. We're so blessed here. We have this beautiful lemon tree in our backyard. So let me go ahead and grab a lemon and we'll zest it and add the poppy seeds and lemon in. All right, so I got my lemon off my tree. Look at that beauty there, huh? Nice. What you always wanna do if you're picking fresh lemons, and even if you're buying some from the store, is you wanna make sure that you wash them. If you're gonna be using the zest, which we are here, because obviously there's dirt and stuff on the lemon peel. And so if you are gonna use the lemon peel, you want it to be clean so that you don't get dirt and stuff in your food. So I like to zest my lemons just by kind of taking a plate, putting my zester on top of that, and then just going through and zesting all of this like this. You need the zest of this entire lemon, so you're gonna zest this whole deal. And you can use whatever kind of zester you want. There are people that use like the cheese grater's got like a zester on it. There are other like little handheld zesters. We started doing this originally. We had this little funny little handheld zester thing and it was a sure pain to use. I mean, we did it because we loved this bread so much, but then we ran across this guy. Look at that beautiful zest there, huh? And so we have been using this ever since. So we're gonna keep zesting away there. This bread is one of the three breads, well, really four, that we make Christmas morning as well. It's just such a family favorite that, when lemon season is, when the lemons come in, man, we have so many things that we can do with lemons. My wife likes a lot of lemon water. We got lemon bread. We got lemon curd. I feel like I'm in Forrest Gump at the moment with all these references to, lemon chicken, lemon whatever, lemon pepper. But nonetheless, we're making lemon bread today. Again, a real family favorite. It's got a nice zing. Anytime we've made it, people have always raved about how delicious it is, okay? So it looks like I got basically all the zest off my lemon, okay? So we're gonna add in to our mix here, our lemon zest. Make sure I get all that off of there. Okay. In fact, I'll make sure I get all of it off. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay. And so we're also gonna add in, because it's lemon poppy seed bread, we're also gonna add in a 1/4 cup of poppy seeds. Sounds like a lot of poppy seeds, but you know, it is poppy seed bread, so you wanna have a good amount of poppy seeds, okay? So just make sure that you don't take any drug tests after eating this. No, I'm just joking. Well, yes and no. So 1/4 cup of poppy seeds there. If you like more, you can put more. If you like less, you could put less. But you know, a real good amount of poppy seeds gives it a real fun look to it, okay? So pop all them poppy seeds in there. Oh, let's see what I did there. So 1/4 cup of poppy seeds, okay? And then we mix all this together. And it looks kind of phenomenal. I'm gonna stop for a sec, scrape down the sides. Want to get all of our poppies and everything. Oh, you can smell the lemon too, that lemon zest. It's good stuff. Don't want to lose any of that. Get all that off of there. Okay. Give it a nice stir, get it all mixed in there real nice and solid like. Okay. Let's take a look. Let me get this off of here. Lemon poppy seed bread. A real fan favorite. Okay. And let's take a look. See that? Nice poppy seeds all speckled in there. Real nice. If you want to give it sort of a last little by hand stir, make sure you get that all mixed in there good. Okay. We're ready to pop this in the pan. Let me get this off of here. Give it a little last. We've done all that goodness. Okay. All right, so all we got to do now is put this in our greased loaf pan. So I'm just going to use, there's a lot of different ways to grease a loaf pan. I typically run with the, shortening on it. You can use a vegetable spray, or I suppose you could use butter. I've never done that. I just take a little dab of shortening on a paper towel, run it all around my loaf pan here. You can use a non-stick loaf pan as well. I've never tried that because I don't have one. This is the loaf pan we've got, the only one we've got, so this is what I use. So if you use other types of pans, obviously the temperature and the times will vary a little bit, but again, this is what I've got, this glass 9x5 loaf pan, okay? So, got that nice, well-greased loaf pan, okay? And then we're just gonna pop this mixture into our loaf pan. Make sure we get all of it if we can, or as much of it as we can. It's not like a wild amount of lemon in this yet, because the glaze really contains the lemon. The zest obviously gives it a nice lemon flavor, but most of the real lemon flavor in this comes from this lemon glaze we put on at the end. Okay, so I'm gonna get much of this out. Leave no batter behind, right? Okay. Yeah, okay. So, you might want to spread it out a little bit. You want it to kind of be a nice, even layer there. It doesn't look like much yet, but it'll rise as it cooks. It's kind of how, these breads go. Okay. Oh, I got more here, I see. Don't want to lose that. Sometimes it happens, right? You're looking back about ready to drop the guy and you see, oh, there's another like tablespoonful. Hey, don't want to waste any of this. I mean, it's so delicious. You don't want to waste any of it if you don't have to, okay? So we got that all together. We're gonna pop this into an oven and bake it at 350 degrees for an hour. So 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour. Pop that in there. Set our timer for an hour. And while that's like baking in there, I'm gonna do a little bit of cleaning up here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and prepare the glaze. And so that's all ready when the guy comes out of the oven. So let me clean up, and then we'll show you how to make the glaze for this lemon poppy seed bread. Okay, so while the loaf of lemon poppy seed bread is in the oven, getting all baked up, we're gonna prepare the glaze. The glaze is gonna go on at the very end. When we pull it out, it's still gonna be kind of warm, and I'll show you how to actually glaze this guy. It's not like a crumble topping or anything, it's just a glaze. So what you're gonna need is you take, first of all, that same lemon that we took all the peel from, and you're gonna want the juice from this entire lemon. And our lemons tend to be kind of large, as you can see, like it doesn't really even fit that well, and they kind of tend to have a lot of juice in them. It's already dripping, as you can see. So you may, if your lemons typically in your area are kind of dry and mealy, you may want a couple of lemons because you want to have a good amount of glaze to work with here. So we're going to take all the juice of this lemon. Look at that. See, they kind of fall apart too. So you could juice it before you take the and get the peel or the you know what I'm saying, the zest off of it. That's, I think, more difficult than just doing this, but nonetheless, get all that lemon juice. Whew, yeah, that's a juicy one. So the more juice you have, the more lemony flavor you're gonna get, and the more of the glaze you're gonna get. And you're gonna wanna kind of get a lot of glaze, because the glaze is really what makes this so delicious. I'm gonna give this other guy another squeeze here. I wanna get all that out. Oh yeah, all that delicious lemon flavor, okay? All right, so to that, we're gonna add 1/2 cup of powdered sugar or confectioner's sugar. You know, I've seen it either way, it's the same thing, but we're gonna add to that 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, okay? So I got my 1/4 cup measure here that I used from the poppy seeds. So I'm just gonna take 2 scoops of this. So there's 1/4. You don't want it packed or anything, just a sort of a filled. Of course, you know, you can vary this. If you want it a little bit more sweet, you can add more. If you want it a little more sour, you can add more lemon. And we're just gonna whisk this stuff together here until that sugar is all dissolved into that lemon juice. Obviously, you could use like just actual lemon juice. You can buy it in bottles from the store. Since we have a lemon tree here, you get the lemons. And even if I didn't have a lemon tree, I should say, I would probably still just buy lemons at the store and fresh squeeze them. I just think the quality's better that way. You know, I know it's a little bit more work, but you know, sometimes cooking is worth the extra work. Some of my recipes, as you'll see, are super easy, super simple, and super fast. And others require a lot more effort because sometimes I just want a really solid, delicious, home-cooked, from scratch meal. And, you know, there's nothing more satisfying than putting a lot of time into a really just wonderfully delicious meal. So, all mixed together like that. There we go. Okay. And then we're just going to let this guy sit while our bread bakes, and we'll put this glaze on when that's done. So we've got a little bit of time. I'll finish doing my dishes and we'll take a look at the bread in a bit. Okay, so we're a little over halfway through the bake here. So I like to always just take a peek to see how things are looking, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. So let's take a little quick peek in at our lemon poppy seed bread here. Yeah, so it's starting to rise up a bit. You see it's getting a little bit brown on those sides there. That's kind of how it goes. It's sort of a darker along the sides, probably because we use a glass dish, but the whole thing kind of ends up a nice deep dark color. It's not burnt, but it's a nice dark brown. So that's what we're looking for. We got, another 20 minutes or so on the clock. So we're gonna check it to see if it's done about that time with either the listen test on the bubbles or the toothpick test. We'll see. So we'll check back in when we're closer to done. Okay, so we're just slightly under an hour in. Let's take a quick look and see where we're at. I think it's basically done. So see how nice and dark brown it got there? So that's good. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull this out a little bit. First of all, I don't hear any bubbling anymore. So that's usually a good sign for it being done. We'll take a toothpick. I'm going to shove it down there somewhere near the middle. I've already done this a couple times. Way down in there, pull it out, and nice and clean. Looks like it's good to come out. Let me get this guy out of the oven before it gets any more dark. Oh yeah, nice. So we're gonna go ahead and let this cool for about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna put the glaze on. So we'll let it cool 5 minutes and then we'll check back in. Okay, it's been just about 5 minutes here. While we're kind of waiting for this guy to get to that 5-minute point, I'm gonna take my glaze mixture here, give it another little whisk to make sure everything's still incorporated. I want to transfer it to some sort of an easy to pour dish like this. Ooh, yeah. That is good stuff. Okay. And my little alarm just went off, so it's been 5 minutes. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take some sort of a poking implement. I'm just going to take this here chopstick. And we're going to poke several holes in the bread so that the glaze can get down deep inside there. I know it sounds like I'm ruining this perfectly beautiful top to this thing, but this is what you've got to do in order to get that glaze nice and in there. So just poke a few holes here and there. It can be random, it can be planned, whatever. So I know it's sad, it's going to make all these holes in your beautiful bread, like I said, but oh man, it's worth it because this glaze is so amazing. So some holes here and there, kind of a lot, but that's okay. We want this to get into the bread, okay? And if you want to poke more, you can poke more. If you want to do less, you can do less. It's your bread, kind of do what you want, but we sort of do sort of a few here all over the place. Okay. Now you're going to take your glaze and you're just going to start pouring it over this guy. Trying to get to those little holes if you can. And it's going to run to the sides. That's okay too. And these little, like I call them valleys or troughs here, I want to put a little bit extra in there, okay? So you want to give it a nice little thin, even coat all over the top of your bread here, making sure you hit each of those holes. So kind of give it a once over there. Want to make sure it's all sort of then evenly covered over the whole bread. Okay, maybe give it a little stir around. Let it soak in for a little bit here, and you can kind of still see, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I can still see a few more dry spots. So just want to make sure I kind of give a little bit more glaze on those dry spots. And as you may notice here, that the glaze is seeping itself down into the edges of the bread here. I don't know if you can really see that, but and that's good. What it's going to do is the leftover glaze is going to move to the bottom of the pan and give the bottom this really delicious, rich, lemony, sweet, and sour flavor. It's really just such a great combination here. So I got a little bit left. I'm just gonna give it another light little pour over kind of the middle of my bread here, hitting a few of those holes as I go. Okay, this is looking pretty good here. All right, and that's all my glaze. Okay. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can also, if you want, actually take the bread out, put it onto a plate, and then pour the glaze on. We kind of like putting it on in the pan itself so that it all settles and soaks in. So now you want to let the bread sit here and cool completely, completely, before you take it out of the pan, if you can, because you want all that delicious glazy goodness to get nice and absorbed into your lemon bread, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and let this guy cool completely, and then we'll take it out of the pan, slice it up, and it's gonna be delicious. Okay, so it's more or less cooled. Still got a little bit of warmth to it, but I'm kind of impatient about this kind of stuff because it just looks too good. So you might want to take a little knife of some sort and sort of work along the edging all around here, just to sort of loosen up the sides. It doesn't always stick, but with that, gooey and delicious glaze, sometimes it gets a little bit dicey. So you want to just kind of maybe give it a little quick run all around the edges there, okay? Got myself a little platter ready to go here. So let's see if we can get this guy out. So, oh, he's nice and loose already. Let's just give it a, okay, so that's good. Oh, yeah. There we go. Yummy, yummy. Lemon poppy seed bread. You have got to try this. It is my wife's absolute favorite bread that we make. Well, there you have it. Amazing, delicious, almost breathtaking lemon poppy seed bread. I'm telling you, make it for your family and friends, and it will be a hit. For me, I made this for my wife for Mother's Day, which is this coming Sunday. So all I've got to do now is find a place to hide it so I can surprise her. So I better do that. Until next time, I'm Rev Blakedog. Enjoy.
A Rev Blakedog production.